What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trib2323. Today I am down here with my worm bin. This is my worm bin. It's getting so heavy and so much. I got actually a 55-gallon drum in the garage that this summer that's what I'm going to be putting them in, before I could turn them more, because it's best to have them where they're more fluffy, and when you keep them in something like this, they're not as there's more pressure on them right here. So this has been sitting on my bed. Man, these worms are like about 8 years old already. I use them to feed my fish. I got 5 fish tanks, so every now and then I throw some live worms in there for them, and they eat them up. And all this is actually the free newspaper that they throw on the front porch that I don't use. Yeah, the worms I'm just picking up out of there. That's all I've been feeding them is I keep wet newspaper here that they're just red wigglers. There's no nightcrawlers you need to keep cold. The red wigglers you don't need to keep cold. You see they're all over the place. And all I've been feeding them is the newspaper. You see the newspaper? Actually, I shredded some of them. It's easier when it's shredded up. I think they like it a lot better when it's shredded up. I put it in a bucket like this, and I let it soak up. Then I drill in, not through the bucket, but with the paint mixer, and I shred it all up. But today, let's see what I'm going to do. I got some of my leftover birthday cake. Check this out. So what I was going to do is, when you put food in for worms, you don't throw it on the top. You have to throw it underneath. So since I have an extra bucket here, what I was going to do was just throw the cake in there. And then not the newspaper, I was going to go to the bottom. Well, this right here had some leftover pancake mix that I had in there. Leftover pancake mix and worms. And I was going to try to get to the bottom here where actually the dirt is. And grab a whole bunch of worms and throw in here. So I could go ahead and see kind of how long it's going to take for the worms to eat that. So it's really moist at the bottom. See if we can find some worms down here. Watch it just throw out paper down there. But no, there's worms, see? There's worms. They reproduced very fast. So there's tons of worms in here. And, you know, people fish with nightcrawlers. Well, these are free. You can breed them yourself. And you could put like 5 of these, like just hooked one time through the worm. And it's kind of as big as a nightcrawler anyways. So yeah, there are a lot of worms in here. And then not only what I'm doing is I'm making room to put more, see, it's smashed. It's really smashed at the bottom. That's why I want to make a tumbler worm bin. So I could tumble. See, a lot of the moisture sits at the bottom. I don't even think I see any worms in here. So at the bottom it's too moist anyway, so I gotta let that dry out some. But this all started as newspaper. So this is all worm castings right here. Yeah, there's some worms right there. Look at that. This all started as newspaper, and now this is just worm castings. I'll put you in here right now. See, all the way to the bottom. But with my 55-gallon tumbler, I'll be able to keep it more fluffy, so it's not compressed where it's harder for the worms to get through. The worms can actually just move around freely through it. When it's too compressed and too wet, that's not good for the worms. You just want it kind of moist. So I'm going to fill this bucket 3/4 of the way up. And I venture to say in a week, it'll be, see, this is too big of a piece of paper. So when you get something like this, you just kind of shred it up right here. That's too big of a piece of paper. I do mix this around a lot. And I put some of the bigger pieces of paper on the bottom so they could actually come apart easier. So all at the bottom, look at that big one right there. So I do use them to feed my fish. Oh, there's quite a bit in that hand bundle I had. I use them to feed my fish. I use them to when I go fishing. I use them to I don't really want to say I use them to compost, because I really don't use them to compost. I just it's just been a hobby of mine for a long time to, I guess, farm worms. Look at this, and like I said, this is, they say, oh, he's playing with poop. This is worm poop. This literally started out, this whole bin started out with just the free newspapers that they throw on your porch. I soaked them, and I put two them little fishing things of red worms in here. And I couldn't find them for a while in the beginning, and you know, but I didn't know if they were living or not. But I just kept them, and you keep them moist, and then now almost every hand bundle you pull up worms. Okay? But I haven't really fed them fruits or vegetables or whatever they say that you're supposed to put in there. It's just all newspaper. So this is kind of the first piece of birthday cake they're getting. They're getting some birthday cake today. So let me show you in here, and then I'm gonna set it and forget it. I'll leave that there for probably about a week, and then in a week from now, I'll flip this bucket over into this right here, and we'll see what we got. Let me get my camera, and then I'll show you inside the bucket. Okay, so this is what I'm filling up 3/4 of the way with the worms. Another worm right there. This is where I'm taking from. Oh, that's the bottom of the bucket right there. And this is just, see, some of the middle part is kind of where you want to be. And that's why I want to make a tumbler. So this way I could tumble it, and it all could be lightly aerated. I just had a worm. There's another small one right there. There's another one right there. See? But with a tumbler, you'll be able to tumble it, and it'll be fluffy, and it'll be good for them all the time. But see, it gets really compressed at the bottom. And that's not good for the worms when it's that compressed. But this is all worm casting. This is like gold if you want to farm with it. Put your vegetables in it or whatever. That's all like really good. Wow, look at those right there. I grabbed. Anyways, wanted to catch you up on my worm farm. I'm going to grab some more of this. Put in that bucket right there. And then in a week, we'll check it out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.